throw me out some numbers, my guy. What is some of the top tier inheritance taxes around the world? Name me like 2 countries.
Sure. I think the highest inheritance tax in the world is in Japan.
How many percent?
It's
Welcome back to Yamcha Sessions, VeryFastOne VFO. This is the 10th of May, 2024. Today, we will be discussing the inheritance tax topic. So, there is an article on The Star that says, reintroducing inheritance tax is not practical, says Dr. Wee. Just bear in mind that this article was published on the 28th of October, Boyge's birthday, 2023, at 2:42 p.m. So, it's been a while since this topic had been discussed, but it's been an age-long topic, according to MJ. And apparently there was a comment in one of our TikToks that mentioned that we're not ready to discuss the inheritance tax.
No, I think I'm ready.
I think now we're ready. Now we're I think we're ready.
We just got ready. We just got ready. Yeah.
So now that we're ready, right? Let's have our first impressions on the inheritance tax. So let me ask one by one, and as usual, because Andrew's name starts with A, let's start with A.
I am
You are pro.
pro inheritance tax for sure.
Cool. Okay. MJ.
I'm pro 100%.
100% inheritance tax. All right. Vic, what about yourself?
My parents exempted, that's it.
Fair.
All right, Vic.
neither here nor there lah.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate?
I think there should be some form of inheritance tax, but like to a very selected group of people. Yeah.
The T1 lah.
The T0.001.
T0.001.
Yeah, because it will leave it's basically like paying SST 6% for us lah. You know, it's not gonna damage them in any way, I suppose.
I mean, if they were T0.001, they probably have a Swiss bank account or something, right?
Possibly, yeah.
So technically, don't need to pay tax also lah. So have to go there, Switzerland, spend there lah. Why are you so scared? For me, I am pro no inheritance tax. So I was ready. I feel that, if let's say the argument here is that if your parents had earned enough money, right, then they're going to be taxed. It feels as if like there would be less of a motivation for a family to amass amount of wealth, right? Because now I might as well be a communist lah. I'm taking pro-America here lah, right? In the end, right, no one will be motivated because they'll be like, what's the point? Government's going to take it. Don't know where the money goes anyway. Which leads to my second question, all right? Can you argue that this inheritance tax goes to the right places? If you look at the current situation of most countries that have a very large, but I mean, it really depends on what you deem large, inheritance tax, the country does not really improve. So maybe Vic, you can throw me out some numbers, my guy. What is some of the top tier inheritance taxes around the world? Name me like 2 countries.
Sure. To my knowledge, I think the highest inheritance tax in the world is in Japan.
How many percent?
It's 55%.
Yoicks.
Followed by South Korea at 50 or 45%. And then you have your US and your France and your UK's at about 40%.
South Korea is 50%.
50%. There you go.
So,
yeah.
yeah, you were saying?
But I think if you trust whoever the ruling government is, or if you trust your country's governance, I think it's completely fine because you know where the funds are going to be allocated or even used to fruition. But if you suspect that things will not go the right way, then like what John said for the first question that he asked, I am pro anti-inheritance tax.
Pro anti-inheritance.
Are you listening? Or are you just watching?
So if the question was, are you pro inheritance tax in Malaysia? What is your answer then?
Ooh, tricky. I think I trust the current ruling government more than the previous one. So for this 5-year period, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
But it really depends who is going to govern us after this tenure. Yeah.
That's actually a solid answer. Solid answer.
Not bad, not bad.
So, can you all guess what is the inheritance tax for Malaysia? Let's throw out some numbers, starting with A. What is the inheritance tax for Malaysia?
17%.
17%. All right, MJ.
Completely unfair. It's kopi o kosong.
Kopi o kosong percent. 0%.
Zero
Wait, what is-
percento.
What is the inheritance tax in Malaysia? So, if let's say, you know,
Okay, so what's a reasonable amount?
no.
Is it?
What is the current?
Zero.
0.
Yeah.
The answer is 0.
Wow, 0.
Hey.
Ultimate handover.
So unfair,
this is
bro.
whether you're listening to the previous podcast also, because you were saying EPF is how you transfer the money and then there's no whatever and all that also.
right.
So 0. You get 100% of what your parents had, provided they don't write a will that says you do not get it, I guess. Which
sick.
would make you a real dick of a
But
kid.
why would someone need the money beyond 5 million?
Mm.
You don't need, like 5 million is more than enough already, right? Let's say if you're 100, you should be giving 95 million away, right? As the TikTok comment that inspired this video said, you know, the kids didn't work hard for it. Why should they get it?
He wouldn't be saying it if he had the son. I mean, if he had 5 million ringgit, if he had a son, I don't think he would give away 95% of his
Correct.
5
I
million
also
ringgit.
think so.
But let's say if he did.
Oh, then all the power.
Because
to
I mean,
you,
you treat his argument in isolation, right? Which is maybe we can psychologize, right? But I mean, I think it's a fair comment, right? Like if you're worth 100 mil, why do you need the 95 to go to your son? Just
So my personal view is, whose money is it? Who earned it? Who put the hard work? Right. So if let's say I earned 100 million, shouldn't I have the option to do whatever I want with it? So technically, if I 100 million, right, and I really wanted to give the government the money, why don't you just give the government?
But
the
how
money?
can
Donate.
you say that with a straight face when you have 100 million and there are people still on the streets who are dying or they have no food and you did not earn that money because you know the
Got it from
roads that the build was on the backs of other people.
Yeah.
The healthcare was on the backs of other people, right? Everything, you know, for you to do your business, you know, all the laws and all that was built on the backs of other people. So how can you say that 100 million is yours? And even if it was, how do you feel about the people who are much less fortunate that work as hard or harder than you, probably deserve more on that basis,
For sure.
but they have like 0 to their name?
For sure. I mean, there is an argument to be made here. Obviously, when you make money, someone else doesn't make money in some sense, or there's a person out there that had to work a lot more than what you have to do, right? But you can also argue that what you were blessed with in terms of opportunity and everything in what you had to go through had led you to that current opportunity to allow you to earn that amount of money. So if I were to put, like, let's say I am John and earn 100 million, and if let's say another guy named Ken were to earn 200 million, and a guy named Lenny earns 300 million, technically you would really prefer to have Lenny be in that position to earn that 300 million. But unfortunately, it's going to be John, right? That is earning 100 million, not the 300 million. So I mean, technically, if you shift things around, there's always a possibility of who earns more, who earns less.
The problem is that the more profit someone makes, the more it's built on the back of the laborers that work for him.
for sure.
And if the laborers are not there, he will not
Lagi
have
cannot
those
mah.
few hundred million.
But so now,
And whenever he profits, that's him essentially taking advantage of someone else's labor, and he
Yes.
should share that a lot more. Like how can he be paid like 100 times more than his?
the fella that actually had to carry the bricks
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
right? Maybe with that opportunity of having 100 million is your ability to give a lot more back. So you might consider just only helping, like,
Yeah,
if let's say I were to distribute, and bear in mind, with this inheritance tax, giving your 95 million away does not necessarily mean it translates to helping that labor fella that had to carry the bricks also, you know. It could be going through various mediums of corruption or people like buying a Cartier watch in between just to funnel that money to patching up one hole in the road.
But if you don't contribute any tax, there is a 0% chance you're helping the guy carrying the bricks. If there is a tax, there is a non-0% chance you're helping the guy carrying the bricks.
I mean, just think of it this way, right? To his point as well, right? You know, everybody goes through financial like insecurities. Everybody have dreams for their children. Everybody want to pursue their passion, right? And to pursue their passion probably needs an X amount of money, whatever that amount is. So let's say that amount is 1 million, right? And you are worth 100 million. It means that you can pursue your passion 100 times, but there'll be at least 99 other people who do not have the 1 million who don't get to pursue their passion.
Yeah.
So if we took that 99 and we give it to them, 99 people will pursue their passion and it's going to be a net positive to society.
But do you think a lot of people then would be motivated or less motivated to earn that amount of money then?
100% less motivated.
Right. Like, why would I even want to amount to that amount of money? I would just do the bare minimum. And then after that, when I hit that amount, I just start funneling the money elsewhere. It doesn't make sense already. Because you would want the money to be kept in the country, right? Not allocated in the Swiss bank account, right?
So if we use a real life example, would be a place like Scandinavia, where virtually everybody is a millionaire because they have strong redistributive policies.
Yes.
Everybody's a millionaire and pretty much everybody has a job and everybody has able to pursue their passions. They want to be a footballer, they can be a footballer. They just want to slack, they can slack. And we know through studies that if you give everybody a certain amount of income, if they don't fear for their jobs, they will they'll be able to perform better. Whereas in the kind of unequal society that, let's say, Malaysia has, a lot of people are just thinking about their next meal. And so if they're thinking about their next meal, how are they supposed to plan for the future like rich people do? And because they don't plan for the future, they just never become rich.
Precisely to that point, right? This is one of the reasons why I think I trust my tax money with the current government more than any other governments that I've seen before. Is
In
because
Malaysia.
in Malaysia, is because of the redistribution. For example, I don't think the states that were not part of the ruling government has received so much budgets compared to any other previous governments before.
What's an example?
For example, look at, say, Johor. They are probably going to reignite the bullet. What train is that again? HSR. Penang is going to get an LRT. There's so much of funds going to Perlis, Terengganu, and
That nine line, other states as well.
The states that are not controlled by any of the parties of the ruling government. So I think as KL folks, we live in a bubble. And the money has always been within KL.
Yeah.
I think for once, they are actually distributing money across Malaysia.
Yeah, when you give police more money, that's for sure.
Yeah. The 8 people in police can enjoy.
So it really depends.
Interesting about it. 8 million and you get millionaires. Is a state of millionaires. Many people in Klang Valley have 8 million.
So yeah.
What do you think, Drew? What is your take on this?
Oh, my take is hell yeah, you should tax the shit out of it.
What do you think is the appropriate amount of tax that we should be imposing on those for inheritance tax in Malaysia then?
What is the appropriate amount?
What if you were king of inheritance tax in Malaysia? What would you do, Raja Andrew?
I would tier it very similarly to how income tax is tiered.
Okay.
So you are still incentivized to make more, but the percentage that we charge
It's
on different
scalable
tiers,
up and down,
Yeah, so
depending.
it's a win-win lah. It makes sense lah.
Because after that, I mean, you wouldn't want to, but you see, that's the thing, right? If we go that route also, there are people out there who will kind of shift the money around in order to make sure that the inheritance tax avoids that bar.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you as a citizen of this country, you are free to find any loopholes within the legal spectrum of the law. You are free to do so. And it is on the onus of the government to pinpoint those loopholes and plug them. That's it. That is that kind of game. Right? That kind of dance. So be it lah. It's okay. But if you don't have tax, none from you fucked up, bro.
Sorry?
You fucked up.
I
Yeah,
see.
it's like you have intergenerational wealth. You've got
Multiple
Jeff
YTLs.
Bezos basically being a dynasty of his own. He's right. He's the new Napoleon. You've got a multitude of problems lah. So I feel you should tax it. You should tier it, and let the games begin lah. You find loopholes. I plug the loopholes lah.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Especially like financial wealth. I would tax both non-financial and financial wealth. So
Like assets as well.
So non-financial will be like land and all that, and then financial wealth will be like stocks, bonds, and all that. Especially stocks and bonds, right? You need to tax the hell out of that. Is because people just make money out of thin air, right? They don't do any work. They just put in 10,000. Then if they're lucky, they have 100,000.
Yeah, it's like
What's
magic.
the number?
I would say it's a case by case, like Andrew said, but I would calculate like a living amount for for the children. So let's say, when it takes maybe the inheritance of like 200,000 inflation adjusted, right? And then everything above that should go to the state.
Wow. That specific state where the person is from, or go back to
No, the state as in the government.
country.
Yeah.
Okay. Overall. What about you?
So yeah, we can adjust for state. Maybe like in Klang Valley is 200, Kelantan is 50, whatever.
Okay. Sounds pretty fair. What do you think, Vic?
I don't know. If I were to put some very rough matrices, right? I think anyone with the net worth of over, say, 100 million, or a family with over 100 million, right? I think a 5% tax on that is extremely fair.
5%?
Yeah.
Above 100 million.
Yeah.
100 million is so much though.
Fair enough.
quite a lot.
You can't use that money. Like it's so hard to use that money.
Sure. 100%. I think in comparison to like, say, Thailand, for example, all they need is like 6 million ringgit, I think, equivalent. They need like 1.5 million USD, and they get inheritance tax of 6 point something percent.
Thailand?
Yeah, 5 or 6%.
Let me just Google that real quick.
Yeah. So I think that's extremely fair, because
5%.
if your net worth is that high, yes, 5 million is a lot, but I think it will not disturb how your family is being run at the same time.
Quality of life assured.
Yeah, your quality of life is going to remain the same. And if your net worth is that high, you have a lot more resources and capacity to multiply your money a lot faster.
Yep.
A lot faster than people with like 500 ringgit.
But then they'll be. I'm just curious. Wouldn't they be dead already? Like the inheritance thing to kick in.
Oh, but you have a lot of consultants. You have a lot of people that work in your family-run business in that sense, ma. In order to, you're not one guy going to manage everything anyway. So they kind of need to keep that wealth. I see your point as well. You see, I see both sides of the argument. Like if you were to keep doing this, right, eventually a lot of companies like Sunway and YTL and all that, they're going to diminish, and then they're going to take their business or developments to a lot of other countries that are going to do development there instead of here.
Yeah.
Then after that, you're just going to be a country where there's, I wouldn't say no, but less development. And in the end, ultimately, it just looks like a country that you don't really want to pour money in. Ultimately lah. Because you would seek other countries that have more potential anyway. That's the scalability that you want, rather than staying in a place where your constant generations are going to affect your profit margin. In the end, you're going to invest money in your own health. You're like, I want to live forever.
But don't you think like when you're already wealthy, you should stop thinking about like yourself, and it should be more for the people, that you don't need to earn the extra dollar already, right?
Yeah.
Now you're in a position to impact like so many people.
But God gave us free will, ma.
I think that's a very noble thought process.
Yeah.
But again, it's subjective to every individual.
Yeah. I think there should be a tax, I just don't think it should be like 50% like Japan lah. Like 50% Japan is redonkulous, Like at this point, I can understand why I don't want to have kids already. I'm just going to maximize my life at this point. Because you just deterred already, right?
Bro, but think about it, right? How Japan got to a state of like hyper efficiency.
We would think that, but like it's mostly the cities that are like that. And even that, some cities are abandoned because they would rather go to a bigger city. So if you look at majority of Japan, like maybe only Sapporo, Tokyo, Nagoya, like Osaka, Kyoto, and then maybe Fukuoka are livable cities in which you can get like your packages within 3 days. You can shop for your necessities. Supermarkets are within like an earshot. But if you go like Niigata, bro, nada. Niigata, nada, bro. It's a snow place, That one is like you have to cross a mountain. If you look at certain places, because Japan, I think MJ has said this on the podcast before, it's actually majority unlivable. It's like mountains and shit. Yeah, so
Almost 90%, I think.
yeah, so if you look at the main hubs, very efficient, but that's also because everybody's there. So I think that's why it warrants investments. It warrants people who want to kind of grow. Yeah, and they kind of develop late lah, technically, right? Okay. I don't know what the time is, but
How many minutes are we in?
19 only. Wow, fucking efficient, man, bro. God damn.
Maybe it's time that we took off our masks, right? Alright, guys, for those listening, I do not support the inheritance tax law.
100%. That's ridiculous. You should,
Yeah,
it should be
no.
negative tax, bro. You should pay me more when
We
I
are
die.
just baiting you guys,
But I feel that, when you have it also, there is some merit to it. Because ultimately you want the money to go to somewhere lah, right? And you want the government to kind of like, okay lah, I guess something. Then after that, they also like reward you in some different way. So it's like a two thing lah.
No, of course, like every pro we've stated is valid. Like those are valid arguments.
Yeah.
But I'm a selfish human being.
Oh shit.
That is just plain as day. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Alright,
I think
man.
that's why you need like proper governance.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense lah, bro. Like if you have that whole like stable government thing, then at least you know the money going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a minority, and consider this, right? One of the best, if not the best government in the world is Singapore, and they don't have an inheritance tax.
Oh, they have zero also.
I think it's
Who? Sorry?
Singapore, right? Does Singapore
Let me
have?
Google that shit real quick.
I don't think Singapore has any.
Singapore.
I don't think they have also.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's worth mentioning, it's 0.75.
and
For
I
a
can
state
tell
one.
you precisely because people are selfish.
Mhm.
That's why we shouldn't give it to the government, because even if you have a good government, right, that is like today. So do you think that when a bad government comes in, they'll be like, yeah, okay, time to change the law
No.
back to no inheritance?
No,
That's not going to happen.
I don't know who I said this to. I forgot. I think I said it in the group, or I said it to Uran, or I said it to Vick. I think I said it to Uran. lah. And like, you know, you think about it, right? Every party that wants to fight to be the government, right, always shits on the current government.
Yeah,
That's one.
for sure.
And number two, they always shit on the policies that the existing government has. Right?
Naturally.
And they're always one-sided, like cow, you know. They're like either left, right, you know, that type of thing, and never in the middle. But
Very, very polarized.
Yeah, but the moment they get to the government seat, suddenly everything damn neutral.
Yep.
And it's like evident, right? If you look at Anwar also, right, his policies are just like damn like against the previous government. I mean, for obvious reasons lah. So I think at this point you know who I spot. But like, now that he's up there, right, the Allah Socks thing also, he didn't even say a word, bro.
Yeah.
Nada.
Yeah, I mean, in any battle, the only way to win is you promote yourself or you diminish your opponent. Ideally, you do both.
Yeah.
So if you're the opposition, that's always going to be the
But you know, that's not a leader problem. That's a people problem.
People problem. 100%.
There's nothing to do with the leaders. The leader needs to win. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
everybody were like hyper rational. It's like, all right, can you bring us, show us a spreadsheet? He'll produce a spreadsheet. Anyone ask for a spreadsheet? No.
Yep.
All right, it's a majority though.
Yeah.
And those people who would don't bother because they know they're not gonna get it. So
But it's so weird because like the moment you're up there, right, suddenly you're seen as somewhat of a hypocrite in some way because you don't even fight for it anyway. And it's so easy because now that you're in that middle position, everybody can shit on you already. Because they're like, what happened to your promises and all that?
No, I mean, rightfully so. I think that's where the current government has learned from their first term. And also, again, this government is like it's a compromise government.
Yeah,
Let's just be fair about that. So I think he needs to balance out himself between politicking and also trying to sort things out.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of things that is going the way it should, I think, to my personal opinion. But again, people like us, we still complain about chap fund becoming more expensive, this sort of things. But I think there are a lot of other factors, and we cannot like go and put it all in one basket and
then
just blame one
yeah,
person.
can't blanket
You get
that
what I
shit
mean?
lah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I remember, I don't know whether this was last year or this year. There's something about the chicken prices. Remember the chicken prices? Last time they had a ceiling one.
yeah,
Now no ceiling
poultry
one.
prices. Yeah,
At that time when they had no ceiling, they released it, right? Wow, I tell you, mad, bro. Everything was so damn expensive. And then now it's suddenly regulated to the point like, oh, actually, macam okay already. Competition was good this whole time.
bro, but hang on. To this point, right? You know what's amazing about my experience when I was a student last time, right? I've never seen prices going down before until I was a student. Not in Malaysia lah.
In the UK, you know.
Yeah.
good deflation there.
Not deflation, but it's because it is controlled. The prices are controlled. So if they release the ceiling and then naturally, like in a capitalist
Society, it would go up.
society, the prices will go up. But if the government says, okay, you know what, butter has to be like £1.80 for like a liter, then it is going to be £1.80. That's it, right? The chicken prices has gone down, but chicken rice still more expensive, bro.
Yeah,
You get what I
because
mean?
all the sellers would always go for higher and never reduce price, ma.
Yeah,
And once they've increased price, why would you decrease price? Doesn't make sense, man.
it makes a lot of sense. They just don't want to do it. Again, going back to everybody's point,
Everybody's greedy lah.
everybody's selfish lah.
Yeah,
Right.
bro. I saw Chum for $8.50, bro.
Mm.
That's fucking wild.
What?
man. Yeah, downstairs, this kopitiam.
No way.
8 ringgit
no
50
way.
cents for cham,
No
bro.
way, no way.
You mean, did you not see the
Bro,
freaking Insta story I posted?
No way.
I show you later.
Okay.
8 ringgit 50 cents for cham is freaking bananas, bro.
Truffle charm, maybe.
Bro, with gold flakes, bro.
Saffron.
That's madness, 850, you know. I was like, wow, 850, right? I can buy fried
I
rice.
want
with
that guy's inheritance.
it. Yeah, bro. Crazy. I don't know. Should we just wrap this up? I think it's quite short and sweet already, lah. People are listening at this point, they're like, wow, is this a Yamcha session?
We baited
Yeah.
them.
Just to be
Yeah.
clear, I don't support it.
I'm for it.
Oh wow, we were all reversed at the end.
I'm 50-50. I'm still
No,
50-50
even you
on
put
this.
55% or whatever you put, there's a way to go about this. You can always create a trust and shield your assets from all these things, so it doesn't really matter.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How does one do that?
There are trust services. They say, no, cannot because we need to get this rolling. There's always a
A
way.
lot of
lah.
mechanisms, bro.
There's always a way. Lah.
Yeah.
It's always a way.
Wow, that's messed up, bro. So
Cannot
what's the
tax
point of having
people.
this inheritance tax topic?
It's to educate people and why it shouldn't exist.
So at this point, right, if you listen all the way to the end of this podcast, you've learned that even if you have an inheritance tax,
No, some people will still kena because they don't know how to.
They don't
to
know.
yeah lah,
stop
but
the
now
system.
it's a bonus lah. You know, if you listen to this podcast all the way, you should like
Yeah.
comment below and
Yeah.
put a cha-ching sign there.
And you have to remember that rich people they know how to play they
Yeah,
know how
bro.
to trade favors, right? So they know there's inheritance tax. Like I can bet you, I mean I don't know for sure, but I can bet you Japanese billionaires. You think they want the 40%? They don't what? Are they really taxed at 40%? I doubt so.
50%.
Because they tell that they own Mitsubishi or whoever, right? They're like, don't tax us. It's like the government because
You're a global
we are
company.
Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
You want to shut down everything? Oh, okay. You want to tax us? Fine. We'll just sell everything and then we'll spend everything. Why not?
Oh my god.
You can tax 40%, right? Spend everything.
Yeah, we. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Then why are we doing this?
Yeah. Or like I just before I die, I liquidate everything and send over to a country that does
That's
not
exactly
have
what I
tax.
said. Like Swiss bank account lah.
The vast majority of people aren't wealthy enough and likely do not know how to navigate.
Bro, if you
Just
watch
like
Wolf of
back
Wall
proposal.
Street, you already know where to go already, bro.
But here's the thing, right? Even if you had the inheritance tax, right?
Uh-huh.
Here's the hard truth, right? You redistribute the money, it goes back to the rich people.
It's just to a different rich guy.
Because the people who do not have money, especially if you're generations or you've never had money, you won't know how to manage it, and eventually it just goes back to people who know how to manage it. So it's much better that you start with no money, and yeah, you probably got to suck up the fact that your parents, weren't from that line to be able to generate money. But if you are the first in your family and you develop the ability to make money, then you can sort of change your
family
bloodline.
lineage.
lah.
Oh.
That's a much better story than we tax a billionaire, so I have now $1 million bucks.
This feels like a tabloid story that people spin off just to
I
get
mean, it's
clicks.
a popular
That's fucking
story,
terrible, and we are part of the problem. It's like,
Hey,
but technically, if you listen all the way, you kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
dark.
that's why you gotta stay
Uchiha
all the
clan
way.
shit going on.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys learned a thing or two, I guess, about how bleak this fucking world is. And sometimes the conversation don't really matter. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Just comment cha-ching if you listen all the way. Yeah.